how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control. Late night in Moscow, where nothing ever happens. Night blooms in the moonlight, no escape. White night, Hyundai lurking, knife in the door.
Paranoid searching for a full vision ride. Under surveillance, nowhere to hide. Influence creeps like blood on the floor. Fine line between peace and war. From campus to crypt, the script flips tragic. Mystic and twisted, magic turn manic. Walk through lingers, but the echo remain. Chains of the slain and eternal pain.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? Happy Friday. I hope everybody's got a fun weekend planned. Got the audio coming in loud and clear. I'm so excited for tonight. I always get pumped for call-ins because you never know what you're going to get. There is hopefully going to be some calls that blow my mind tonight and blow your mind. And if this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. Welcome to the Hive Mind. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. We think past the headlines. We question the narrative. And we have been going hard on the Idaho 4 case. We are building a ton of momentum. We recently just had ex-FBI agent and author Chris Whitcomb into the Hive. He recently released a book called Broken Plea. It's released on some platforms, not all. And we had a great interview. We really did. Whether people agree with him or not, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But tonight, what I have tasked people that are tuning in for that have read the book or listened to the interview, which I will be posting 2 parts this weekend. The full live is up now, but this weekend I will be posting part 1 of just Chris and I talking, and then part 2 will be the Q&A from all of the questions that you had in the chat for him. So that way you can kind of separate it out depending on what you'd like to listen to more. Now, as you're filing in, and before I set the tone for the call-ins, please, everybody, hit the like button, hit subscribe. That's all that I ask. Hitting like is free. Subscribing is free. If you'd like to have access to the emojis and the Hive logo next to your name, you have to join Hive Plus. All the streams are free. There's just a handful of extra perks for those people that do feel kind enough to support this channel financially. Now, tonight's going to be a Hive Plus only call-in. I figured out a way, and when I tell you, Hive, that I truly try my best to keep everything as close to possible to where if you don't want to pay to watch, I'm never going to make anybody pay. I don't want to put a stream behind a paywall. I never will. Same thing with the chat. So what I figured out that I could do for the Hive Plus call-ins, if you are in Hive Plus and you go to my YouTube channel, go to posts, and I have the link posted under the Hive Plus only, I guess, whatever you could filter out your posts for people who can see stuff. So anyways, Hive Plus people can only see this StreamYard link, which is awesome. We don't got to shut down the chat, and that'll keep it engaging. That will keep it active. And so if you are in Hive Plus and you want to call in, just go over to my YouTube channel, scroll over to the most recent post, and there will be the link for you all there. Now, Also, I have something else super exciting to show you guys. And that is, let me pull this on up right here. How sick is this design that the mods made? The Anti-Mainstream Media Club. These are now available on our site. I love this. I would wear this out in public personally. And that's going to be on the website. We just got those launched today. I think they're pretty sweet, as well as we have the official MSNPC t-shirts up there as well. So go and check those out. Again, if you're feeling kind enough to support the stream, buying some merch, joining Hive Plus, or just hitting like and subscribe is the best way to do so. But I think this is badass. So I will definitely be getting myself some of these as well. And thank you to the mods, the best mods on YouTube, being formerly known as Beck, Discord Dog, Luda Bliss, and UFO Dog. I'm going to go ahead and say what's up to everybody. And then we will be getting into the call-in show. Sherry, Brittany, Alexis, Karmic, good to see you. UFO Dog, formerly known as Beck, Birdie BB23, Miss Trilly, Miss Trial. Oh, Miss Trial. I get it. I see what you did there. Giraffes, bruh. If you know, you know. Been here about 20 minutes. Love the vibe. Well, welcome. Renee, Katharina, 2 a.m.'s a witch hour, Down the Rabbit Hole of Hell, Twisted Timo, Carrie Graham, They Can't Redact My Beehole, Jessica Lynn, Growth Renewal, Thierry Dawn, Leslie, 24/7, Sherry Brock, and 1 second here. Let's see. We got Philly. I think I said that. Tony, good to see you. Sleuther there. Always nice to see you as well. Esther, Leon Bimpson, 998 said, UK Liverpool boss channel, you and the Hive get me through my shift in Jaguar. Why the hell did no MPD ask DM and BF, why did you not say anyone was deceased or did you see blood all over the house? That is the $1 million question, Leon. I think we are all wondering that. However, Sammy T Mafia put a TikTok out today that was a really good take. Sammy T is usually our guest on Thursday evening. She was feeling under the weather this week. And I was watching her TikTok and she had said, you know what? How much can you really blame Dylan? Because outside of the 911 call, she was never asked. Right? Think about that. Dylan was never asked. So there is something to be said about that too. So to your point, Leon, why the hell did MPD not ask? They didn't. They absolutely did not ask. And Carissa Born 22 said, happy Friday. Love the call-in shows. That I do as well. And thank you to the mods for gifting out some memberships, as well as Shell Shocked and Starla. You guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate that. Now, all right. To set the actually, before we do this, I do want to ask a Discord question of the day, just because this caught my eye, as it is always wonderful to see new faces in the Hive. And this is from Valpal, who said, hey, Birdie, I'm new to your channel, so I'm not sure if this has ever been discussed, but I have never seen it mentioned anywhere. Did they ever mention the food Xana ordered being found in her stomach during the autopsy? Well, Valpal, no, they have not. It's very similar to what Leon just asked, actually. We have not gotten access to those reports if they exist, and the stomach contents are unknown. Everything surrounding Ethan and Xana, outside of the fact that they were found brutally stabbed in Xana's room, is really not known. And again, welcome to the Hive. Type a 1 if this is your first live by chance, or if you just recently discovered this channel, welcome. JDH says, was that Nickelback? Or sorry, excuse me, was that Nickelback? I almost said Nickelberger? Nickelback singing Fortunate Son. No, it was actually, I forget the name of the cover band. It might even be an AI cover band, honestly. That's how I've been able to get around these damn copyrights. And hopefully the YouTube algorithm isn't listening to it. Some of those AI songs they smack. They're really good. Look at This Photograph is my go-to karaoke song, if anybody cares, for better or worse. Nomadic Duckman said AI is good for something. What's up? How you doing tonight? Aver Moreno? Sorry if I said that wrong. All right. So now that we are going to be getting into the call-ins, like I said, the link is posted on my channel. If that doesn't work out, I will post it in the chat. Just let's all use the honor. What is it? The honor rule. Just if you're Hive Plus, obviously we'll be able to tell if your name's green and you click on it, but I would really appreciate it if only the Hive Plus people did click it, if that's the route we got to go. Now, what do I want as far as a topic for the call-in tonight to get to it? And then we will open this up, and I am all ears and all yours for however long this takes. So I had said last night, if you tuned into the interview, it felt like there was moments where Chris Whitcomb was being a little bit cryptic, almost Socratically guiding us through some aspects of the crime scene, where he was asking us questions back to the questions that I was asking him. Well, why would that be the case? How does that happen? And I do wonder if there is some aspect of where, and I screenshotted this comment. So this comment, and I didn't have a chance to add it to the screen. This comment is from Lucy Dietrich. And Lucy Dietrich said, this interview is one we need to watch. Given the info we already knew about 100,000 times, I really do think Chris is, one, creating and maintaining yet his income stream as an author for himself. Two, throwing us little nuggets without pissing off his fellow LEO colleagues, getting his own self silenced or canceled. And three, really does want us to find the whole truth and nothing but the truth without putting his own life or career in jeopardy and ruining future discovery, and so on and so forth. There is a fine line to walk with it. And like I said, I'd like to give it a chance. Okay. For better or worse, hate it or love it. The interview was too electric at times, I believe, to not look into what he said and see if there's something that we can pick away from it that we didn't already know. Why not? That's right, Camilla. Why not? And so I'd like for tonight us to get into that mindset. Okay. We've questioned things in the past. Did we hear anything from Chris in this new book or the interview that may look a little bit different? And so I don't want you to filter yourself. You could say whatever you want. Try to bring as many receipts as you can. Try to be precise and to the point, but take the gloves off. Don't be nervous. Okay. Nobody's going to see your face. Everybody's only going to hear your voice. And so I have a couple of people backstage. What I'm going to do here is would it just be easier if I dropped the link in the chat just for the Hive Plus people? So I will do that now. I trust everybody in here. So let me get this posted in the chat quickly. All right. So for the Hive Plus members, please, please, please try to have it just be them. And Brittany says, don't speak too soon. And I will go ahead. We have a couple people backstage, so we have some spots open, but we have two people already back there. 3. Okay, it's filling up. Shawley Redacted, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Because you are the first call, I want to check the audio with the Hive.
Yep.
Somebody please let me know, is the audio equal? And Shawley, just say like, hey, what's up, Birdie?
Dylan's a wanker.
Dylan's a wanker. Hey. Love it. All right. So it seems like everything is all good audio wise. And so Shawley, you are kicking us off this evening. What do you got for us? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good.
Good. I don't think I've asked you that before, and I do apologize.
That's all right.
First of all, have you seen Idaho Statesman today?
Is that where Dr. Turvey had kind of released some information
About the chain of custody? Yeah.
Yes. Let me see.
I found that very, very interesting, and especially off the back of the lives that have been happening with Chris recently. I thought that was very interesting timing.
It is interesting timing, isn't it? Yes, there's a bunch of articles out about it now. And yeah, the Boise, Idaho Statesman, here it is. Koberger defense expert says police mishandled key evidence in Idaho murder case. It's how, hang on. Can I just actually pause?
Yeah, of course.
Can we all take a second and just, can we celebrate this? Can we celebrate this win right now?
100%.
Look at this headline. And I know that it's a little, I don't know why it's a little bit glitchy, but look at that headline, Hive. It said, Koberger defense expert says police mishandled key evidence. That is unbelievable to actually read with our own eyes. So sorry, I got it back up on the screen now.
I think it shows that we're making progress. You asked on the live last night, are we closer? My response was yes and no. I feel like we've got a lot more info, but there's no tangible proof at this point. But I think the defense coming out and saying that today is a massive step in the right direction. And I got quite excited about it, to be honest with you.
And Dr. Turvey, again, 22 books published, 75 cases testified in. And speaking of Dr. Turvey, do you know what I found interesting? As I cannot believe how many times I've already been going through that interview with Chris. And I had made a joke about, Dr. Turvey calls it a scabbard, not a sheath. Yeah. Okay. So all sheaths are scabbards, but not all scabbards are sheaths. And with how meticulous and detailed Dr. Turvey is, one may find it interesting that he uses the word scabbard. And if you don't know what a scabbard is, let me pull this up. Because this is rather interesting. So Dylan said it was like a belt, right? And it was on the side.
Yep.
Look at this shit. That's a scabbard. A scabbard holds a large blade. It holds a very, very large blade, everybody. And so she says vacuum, and it kind of came out, and then it came in. I don't know. I mean, shit. That's kind of weird, right? So when you think of a scabbard, it's not just necessarily a sheath. Did somebody in the background just go holy shit?
Yeah, that was my husband. He's watching you on screen while I'm talking to you, and yeah.
No, that's crazy. And hang on one second, I just gotta take myself down and come. Sometimes that resets it, so hopefully if it was a little glitchy, sorry about that. But anyways, how weird is that?
Yeah, definitely. I picked up on that too. As soon as Chris mentioned scabbard, I thought, wait a minute.
I don't know what a scabbard is before this.
Yeah, see, I did, but it was very interesting. I found, but yeah, I've got a lot of theories. Some of them are probably a bit out there. Some of them are a bit tin hatty. But the first thing was regarding Chris and being cryptic and not saying as much as we would hope. I have a couple of theories. The first one, maybe he knows who the perps are, and if he gives away information that only law enforcement and the perps know, then that could harm the case if it does get brought up in the future and the real perps are tried. He doesn't want to impede the case. The other one, which is a bit out there, is that perhaps someone like Turvey, for example, has approached him and said, look, I need someone that's not an active employee at the moment to bring this to light. I can't do it because I'm still working in this field. Maybe you could bring a book out and, get this out there.
That is music to my ears. Thoughts like that are music to my ears, Shawley. Am I saying your name right, by the way?
You are, yes.
I mean, it's genius. It makes a lot of sense. Why be the messenger? Like I said, I talked to Dr. Turvey on the phone, And he's very specific about what shows he will go on based on really just who the person is that's hosting it and their credentials, right? Like he typically doesn't just go on random stuff. He's a high level expert.
Yeah, and I think that there are a couple of times that in the lives that I've watched with Chris where he gets certain information wrong that I would expect him to not get wrong necessarily. Like when you showed him the screenshot of the living area and he said, that's, you know, Kaylee's bedroom. Right. And we know it's Xana. And, you know, there are a couple of little bits and pieces here that he said that I thought, surely you would know that. Which kind of leads me to believe that maybe someone else has given him the information and he's sort of been a ghostwriter as such, because he has that platform already to try and get the truth out there. It's been hurting my brain all day, so as you can probably tell.
Well, I'll respond to that with two things. One, Dr. Turvey, like I said, he's written 22 books. So, you know, he's hooked up with publishers and he's connected as far as the publishing world. If he's written high level crime scene analysis books, right? And, you know, Chris gets into true crime to tell a true story about a real case. Who knows? Maybe there is overlap. Secondly, I agree with you on some of the simple things that would be like, really? I mean, I'll give him some grace. He did like 17 out of 20 hours of interviews. He went from doing 4 hours of Devil's Advocates, and then he did another show, and then he did the Custody Queens, and then he went back to back with me. I mean, he had some endurance for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was sort of my husband had posited the theory as well, and I thought, so I had a bit more of a think into it and thought, yeah, that would make really, really a lot of sense. So yeah, there was that. And there's just a couple of little bits and pieces that he said that leads me to believe he's trying to send a message without sending it. Like, for example, I've noticed on all of the lives, he says, I don't voice my opinions. I do not speculate in the book. He always emphasizes in the book. And I found that really interesting because I've been watching his mannerisms. It's sort of something I have a lot of experience in. And I've been watching his mannerisms and trying to sort of break it down and think what is actually being said here. And there's a lot. I feel like he is telling us the wrong information on some things to make us either to make law enforcement come out with a statement saying, no, you got that wrong, this is the truth, and slipping up, or to get us to think about it more and bring the truth out more.
I couldn't agree more. Very, very well said, Shirley. I hope you and your husband have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy.
Cheers. See ya.
Bye.
That's always awesome. I just saw a comment that said Fox News burned, or not necessarily burned, but released the name of the source for Chris Whitcomb. Interesting. Very interesting, if that is true. Okay, next up, we got Edie Redman. How are you doing?
I'm good, Bertie. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. What do you got for us?
Well, I sent you an email and a timestamp off of, I don't know if you've seen Paul's video today about the ramifications of some of the the knife, excuse me, excuse me, of the knife sheath mishap, you know, with the mishandling of the evidence and all that. And also he talks about that Brian, he's looked it up and he says that the statute of limitations will run out for Brian to be able to appeal this on September the 3rd. And Paul says on that video that if he has not appealed by September 3rd, he's done. Kind of, that's what he said. I was wondering if you could look it up and play some of it.
To play Pa's video, so I wanted to keep tonight focused on Chris Whitcomb and saying that, but I mean, I will go check that out, Edie, because
he's talking about the interview and like the ramifications of that being brought out for Brian's case, because he says that because this all has come out, that it could could even hurt Brian because of the fact that there's some kind of law that if that evidence is not, and the reason I wanted you to look at it is because he says it much better than I can.
Yeah. I get what you're saying though, because if the statute of limitations run out, but also, I mean, what I'm curious about, and again, I haven't seen it, but my gut tells me that there's got to be something with new evidence or exculpatory evidence. Like it can't just run out and then they say, oh, well, the time passed. And now that the time passed, you're proven innocent. We have to keep you here. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, but he also says that there's something, and I really do hope you'll look at this later if you won't look at it now. But there's something about the knife sheath thing that if that evidence is tainted, he says they can't use that for anything. Like they can't go back and use that for anything. And he said that really he had it all mapped out. You know how he does. But he says that the only thing that that Brian could actually use was that that he had inefficient counsel or something like that. But he said that if he gets off on, something like that, and that they don't have to reopen the trial. There's some glitch, and that's what I wanted you to see was the glitch. There's a glitch somewhere, and this glitch is, may like he's saying he thinks it'll hurt Brian if he gets out on some kind of technicality, but they don't ever have to reopen the damn case, and everybody still thinks for the rest of his life that he's guilty. That's what he was trying to say, but he says it much more eloquently, and he shows you diagrams.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely have to check it out. Obviously the last few days I've been trying to read the book, prep, and then obviously the interview and try to debrief on that. But I appreciate that, Edie, and I will look in my email for that message, or I'll just go look it up. But I appreciate it.
But I do think that this guy wants us to find the truth. And I do think he knows. And I also think that Dylan was involved because of what he said about the girl thing. And I peeked on a couple of other people's shows today, and there's a lot of stuff about Dylan and some guy named Gideon and Bethany and some girl named Yessie all being at an apartment and then going to Pete's all that night before they went there. And Ethan and Xana were also there. And that's in MPD Files 562 if you want to look that up at any time.
MPD
But
562.
yeah.
Okay.
So I really believe that there was more than one girl involved. I believe there was a whole bunch of people. But what I don't understand, the only one thing I don't understand, I know you're about to cut me off, is I understand how they cleaned up all the footprints and all the blood in the house because he said that they did. And I do believe that. But what I don't understand is how there was not a ton of footprints in the snow if there were that many people.
With that I'm honestly, I agree with that. There's a lot of things, and I appreciate the call, Edie. I need to look. I mean, guys, full transparency. I would love to watch way more stuff that I'm able to. I do rely on people like, Edie and people in the Hive sending me stuff, because if I get sent something, a handful of times, I'm like, all right, there's probably something here. We know that there's no shortage of stuff to look into with this. The multiple people, the lack of footprints, and, all that stuff. What I'd like to focus on, and I'm not trying to be rude to Edie, because it's like, we know that. I really want to stay focused on with Chris and the interview, and how can we look at the evidence a little bit differently? Okay. So I'm now going to reserve the right, and nobody's allowed to call me an asshole for it. In the interest of staying on topic, I'm not going to cut you off, but I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm just be like, I'll say like pineapple. All right, I'll say pineapple. Okay, pineapple if you're getting a little bit too off the topic. All right, and then we will be able to correct it. But you get one pineapple, and then other than that, I'm gonna have to move on because I would like to get through everybody as we already got a full backstage. So here we go. Somebody said no, play a sound birdie. Actually, I'll rely on. We're good. We're good. Here we go. Next one up, we got Shannon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Birdie? Hi.
I'm doing good. Shannon, can you put the mic up to your mouth closer?
Yeah.
Or,
Hold on 1 second.
and I can turn up the mic too.
Okay,
Say what's up.
can you hear me better?
We'll talk. Hang on.
Hold on. Better?
Much better. Hive, is that better for you all? Hopefully it is. All right. What do you got for us?
Hey,
Shannon? How
I
you
can
doing?
hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. As far as the book, I don't know. I have not gotten my copy yet.
Okay.
But the interviews, I believe that he does know a lot more than what he's telling because, he's seen a lot more stuff than we have.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, I don't know, he was contradicting himself from the book to what he said about, MPD did a great job. I feel like that was not really what he wanted to say, and then I did the same when he said that, he was a fan of Santa. I was like, what did he just say? I had to go back and re-listen to that one spot because I was like, wait, what, did I hear that right?
Yeah.
But I also kind of thought he was a little creeper too,
creeper?
wanting to look at the picture of, one of the ladies that did the super chat, or, a hot girl. Oh God, she is a hot girl. I just, I thought that he would carry himself a little better than that.
I see your point on that. I can see both sides. One, he's relaxed. Two, it's maybe intrusive. I get it. I think that in a way, I see your point on that because it's like, hey, the book's getting released. Maybe he thought it would be endearing. I don't know. But to your point about the Bill Thompson and the MPD praise, talk about a plot twist.
Right.
I mean, I know he's kind of having the back of, the backs of his former colleagues. And I do think he's walking a thin line without trying to piss everybody off. But he also said a couple of times too, that it's not a wrongful conviction book. Well, what is it then? Right. It's just presenting the evidence in a way about somebody who, so I'm not sure, but what do you got for us to finish this up, Shannon?
Well, I really wanted to know if he knew the contents of their stomach. I think I've been wanting to know that for a long while now, so we could put the Molly thing and Domino's thing to rest. But, well, that was about all I have gotten until I get to read the book myself.
Well, when you do, are you in our Discord? If so, you should, if not, join it. And if you are, let us know your thoughts after you read it. And that goes for everybody. I appreciate the call,
Okay.
Shannon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too, Shannon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty. We got Investigator Bus.
That's me.
All right. Can you stand a little bit closer to the mic or
I
talk
can
into the phone?
definitely sit a little closer.
There you go. Much better.
Yeah, man. How's it going tonight?
It's going well. Did you tune into the interview live with Chris Whitman?
Yeah. I remember the interview, and I actually have the book right here. But I remember us talking about yesterday on yesterday's stream how we wish we would have asked him about the Apple Watch and the unexplained movements. So if you have the book, it's on page 55. But basically, I can just read it. But police files indicate that an Apple Watch she wore that night documented movements that were very hard to explain because her story, and by her I mean Dylan, she claimed that they did not leave their room or even go to the bathroom. Or actually, I think this is what I'm talking about is on two different pages. So what I just said was on page 323, towards the bottom there. But
so they say they don't go to the bathroom, and how do girls that were out drinking not use the bathroom at least one time, right?
And then, yeah, on page 55, this is what I mainly wanted to bring up, was the actual police report stated that Hunter told police that he had entered through the locked front door, had to use a punch code to get in the door. That was what Hunter said before he found Bethany and Dylan in Bethany's room. But then there's an eyewitness between 9 and 10 that says the door was wide open. So there's two inconsistencies here, and I'm a firm believer in inconsistencies means something is not right. And if you find so many inconsistencies, then it's worth a second trial. And I remember one of the callers earlier, I think it was one of the first ones, said something about how the case, there's like some glitch to where you can't get it reopened. And
right.
I think that's kind of what everybody in the Hive kind of wants, is to change the way that we can reopen cases and have different levels of like inconsistencies that we can bring forward, that people with closed minds that are not in the Hive mind, necessarily don't think about. They just kind of read what they're given. And like those interviews that you pull up all the time with that stupid blonde chick that just literally spews like she doesn't even have a brain cell left in her head. And then you already know who I'm talking about if you've tuned into the show before. But
yeah,
mainly I just wanted to think about talk about if I was Chris, and I'm not trying to speak for him, but if I was him and I just released a book, I would be using this stream to literally expose everything that he wrote about. Now, I don't understand why. That's just because I'm not him, but I don't understand why you wouldn't want to bring up the best parts of your evidence, the best inconsistencies possible, instead of just trying to wait for us to bring one up. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Why not leverage the momentum while you have the most eyes on your book and where you're able to explain the book, to where you can kind of create this launch, right? This momentum launch where it's like, not only are you going to see the book, but the shit that my publisher wouldn't approve, I'm now going to tell you the book is all factual. Here's some stuff that I also saw that I didn't put in the book because I can't guarantee it, but here's some rumors and here's some information on it. And this is not just pertain to Chris. I think that your strategy is not a bad one, especially if you're trying to expose it. To quickly touch on your point about the glitch in the previous caller, I think it was Edie. I wanted to respond to this earlier, but I didn't have a chance to. So what I was going to say to that glitch is, I'd rather be out of prison and looked at like I'm guilty than in prison and not guilty. 10 out of 10 times.
100% agree.
You know what I mean? So,
and another thing in the book, right before he mentions the Apple Watch, is just, there's just so many inconsistencies with where Dylan and Bethany were between 4 and noon, 4 a.m. and noon that day. There's just, if you even listen to their interviews, I know you have, but if people watching have ever listened to their interview, I just don't understand how somebody whose literal job it is to decipher this stuff doesn't understand how this doesn't line up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
How do you not just bring that up in the interview? You get what I mean? And I think, I honestly, obviously we all know by now that what we're being told is probably not what happened that night. And just if I was Chris, I'll end with this because I know you got a bunch of calls and I want to respect your time. But if I was Chris, I would have freaking jumped on that Apple Watch because that just feels like that is the proof. I mean, you have a device on your wrist that can track your arm movement, tracks your steps. It has a fucking calculator on it, a camera, whatever, a phone. Like, how do you not like dive into that a little bit more? All he says in the book is it's just very hard to explain these movements. Like,
well, I'm not gonna hate on a guest that did awesome. I'm not saying that you're hating on it, but we could always Monday morning quarterback. After hearing the interview, I would guess that it's probably going back to the defamation thing, where he can't necessarily say for certainty somebody's name and then what they did. But anyways, last point.
Yeah,
right?
like I just saw UFO Dog said like she definitely wasn't sleeping, and I feel like that's enough to even say that. I don't know like why you wouldn't even put that in there. Like, you know, instead it just says she wore it and it documented movements that are very hard to explain. It's like, why don't we just say it how it is? She claimed she was sleeping during this time, not waving her arm around stabbing people, but that's what the Apple Watch picked up. So you either have to just think the Apple Watch bugged out, or you either have to think that someone is lying and there was arm movement that is hard to explain.
I would absolutely love to see those Apple Watch records, and I appreciate the call, Investigator Bus. You have a fantastic
I wonder what
night.
that'll look like if they can look into that, like how it looks.
It would be nice,
like a heartbeat or something, or like even because it tracks your heart rate too, doesn't it? Like,
yes,
I don't
it does.
have one, but like I'm sure it does. You know, if it tracks your steps. So, yeah, man, just appreciate what you're doing, and I know the Hive does too. So keep it rolling, baby.
Cheers. You have a good one. Thank you. You know, I think, and this is not, you know what, this is not meant to be rude, but I think what would be nice is if it would also help me out feeling a little bit better too, to kind of, and this is not towards anybody yet. We're getting rolling. I love hearing from everybody. Just as far as we want to get a lot of calls in, not rushing anybody. If you guys start dropping the pineapple emojis, that'll be our inside cue, but obviously don't just overuse them. Okay. Cause sometimes I get locked into the conversation too, and I take my eyes off of, you know, the chat and stuff. But all right, Detective Mowry, I'm giving you a 3-second warning as your device. There we go. You're on it. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you, Mr. Birdie?
I'm doing well. Did you have a chance to, I didn't see your name in the chat, but I also, the chat was flying. Did you have a chance to watch the Chris Wickham interview?
Yeah, I did. I did watch it.
Thoughts on it?
It was pretty good. I learned some new stuff. Again, I thought it was a really good interview. I think he had a different point of view than most of the ones that I've heard come out. So, you know, any new information is always good information, so you can kind of weigh the evidence for yourself. But I thought it was a really good interview. But the question I had got two questions really, and maybe he knows is, and it kind of goes with my thing that he said Ethan was naked.
Yep.
Well, does Ethan sleep naked every single night, or did he just get finished with Xana? I don't know.
I don't think it's a bad thought, right? Because it's like there's also so little about Ethan. I mean, I wouldn't find it unusual if in college or just in general, right? If you're with your significant other and you stay over there a lot, you know, if you're sleeping in the nude, is that normal? That's a good question. Right. Because let's be honest, us not knowing that, it does create a little bit of a bias in our heads. Like, why was he naked? But that could have been his normal.
Correct. It could be, or it could be that him and Xana just got done doing it after being, you know, hammered all day. And then that must have happened depending on, you know, results from an autopsy on Xana. Maybe you could tell that happened before the events inside the house, and then you can start kind of moving the timeline and piecing it like, okay, so they had to do this, and then after that, then she ate dinner at Jack in the Box, or maybe she ate Jack in the Box and then they were doing it, and then whatever. I don't know, but it just kind of intrigued me. I didn't know he was naked. So,
did you read the book yet, or no?
No, I purchased it on Amazon, but I don't. They haven't delivered it yet. So
for the sake of this conversation, a small spoiler alert, again, for people that haven't read it. I thought the book did a really good job at describing how Ethan's leg wounds came about. And it was that he had they suspect, or they're guessing, or they're theorizing that Ethan had lifted his legs, like almost, like how in fighting, if you're on your back and you're kind of going into full guard, he kind of lifted his legs up to protect himself from the blade. And that's how they're suspecting he got cut on his legs, which to me, that makes sense, right? If you are laying down, you're like, oh my God, someone's bum rushing you. You're probably going to lift your legs up instinctively. Like kids playing helicopter. Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly it. But I could totally see that. But yeah, so yeah, that was kind of my thing, is just like, is that typical or not? Because that would really kind of inform, I think, more time period. But I don't know the answer. So, well, what was your other question? Or was that too? Oh, that was it. Was does he sleep in the nude? Is that normal of his pattern? And was Xana found with any sort of residue from any sort of interaction that may have occurred before the crime? So that was really the two things that intrigued me. Once again, once I found out that he wasn't dressed, those were the two questions that came up in my mind. It's like, is that normal? And it's a good question. Did something happen before? So, well, I appreciate the call, my guy. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Oh yeah, lots of work, man. Well, get her done. Take it easy. Yes, sir. See ya. See that? Love that. Love that. To the point. And all righty. Next up, we got Nina Love. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know if you've seen my comment on Discord last night, but after rewatching the video, it kind of, I don't know, something kind of clicked. And you know how he was speaking, if it was true that they found that bloody bracelet downstairs.
Yes.
And I remember a few lives ago that there was somebody who brought up about a picture of after they put the Amito Black on the stairs. I don't remember seeing any Amito Black on the downstairs area, just on the stairs. And it kind of looked as if like somebody's wiping it going up the stairs. Do you remember that?
Are you talking
like somebody
so was from the second to third, or first, or like basement to second?
It's from the bottom, the basement to the up to the stairs, up to the first level. I mean the second level, sorry.
That. Oh, up to this. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, to the second level. So it looks like, honestly, it looked like after the Amito Black was put on there, it looked like as if like it was somebody like trying to grab them to the stairs. But like you can see almost as if it was being dragged.
Did you post a picture of it? And if so,
no, I didn't post a picture. No, but I do remember it was on one of the lives, and one of the you had pulled it up because it was a question that was I want to say that maybe it was a call-in.
I remember this. It was with Sammy T Mafia. Yes.
Yes. Okay. It was. Yes. That's what I thought it was. And then you pulled the picture up, and you can clearly see on there that the way that it was wiping up, like you can see somebody actually like, trying to grip onto the stairs. And every way that you try to, like, I was trying to look at it, it doesn't make sense if it was going down. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's going upward. And I mean, with that, the bracelet being found, if it was true, being found in that bottom room, I mean, maybe they did clean it up. That's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe, because like he said, oh, well, how do you use the bathroom and not? They probably seen it, cleaned it up. And I believe it was said somewhere that multiple times I've seen it, that Dylan had showered.
Yeah, people have suspected that if her hair was wet.
Right. And then thinking of the shoe print in front of her door, if it's turned that way, of course she's talking. If it's turned the way that it was turned, she may have been talking to Bethany, not realizing she had the blood on her shoe until coming back out after, getting dressed and everything. And it's like, okay, well, shoot, let me clean this up too. And then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of true crimes, and they say that if there's no footprints leaving the house or blood, whatever, leaving the house, then obviously the person is still in the home.
Right.
So, I mean, like, okay, well, there goes, I mean, they didn't interview them or whatever, like interrogate them the way you think that they should have, with 4 people being dead, but you 2 are the survivors. Like, it doesn't make sense still all the way around. They had to have seen the blood. They had to have known something But to
Right.
say, oh, nothing at all, like it's mind blowing still.
Yeah, and it does seem as if Chris alluded to a little bit. He really made an emphasis on the blood just stops at the door. It just stops at the door and the cleanup, right? Like he really did emphasize certain things around that second level, the ping pong table and the blood stopping after Xana's door into the hallway, and then it gets cleaned up. So I think that's a great point, and I appreciate the call, Nina. You have a good one.
You as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All righty. We got Monty. How are you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. We got you loud and clear. What do you got this evening?
Hey, so I'm good, man.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. I'm getting some I'm getting some echo
on my end. Oh, you got to close your YouTube out.
How do I do that?
So just close the YouTube app if you have it open.
Ooh,
so do you have an iPhone?
No, I have a
I don't know if I can help you out, but it should just however you would close it out, you just got to quit the app and then it should be good. You're good. Take your time. Oh, he closed out. He must have closed out StreamYard. Okay. We got, if he joins back, I will let him back in. We got Hoffy Master. Is that how you say it? Are you there, Hoffy Master?
Yeah, it's Brian Hoffmaster.
Brian Hoffmaster. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, hey, I want to throw something out at you. Okay? And I'm going to make this short.
Yes, it's Brian Hoffmaster.
I believe Chris is probably working for the defense for Koberger. I believe that's how he got all his information legally. And I think he's playing, did you ever hear The Art of Fighting Without Fighting?
I've heard of The Art of War, but yes.
And Bill Thompson doing good work, MPD doing good work. Well, to me, that's reverse psychology. That puts more attention on MPD and Bill Thompson. That's all I got to say. All right. Have a good one, Birdie. Love you, man.
Love you too. Thank you. Appreciate that, Brian Hoffmaster. Dude, see, you know what? I could tell the second that I heard that man's voice coming through the link, I'm like, this guy means business. I'm going to keep this quick, Birdie. I'm going to keep it quick. And between Shawley Redacted and Brian Hoffmaster, the way that they thought about it, as far as the call-ins, that is, it's whether it's true or not, that's what I'm trying to pull out of people is that mindset is how is it that there's simple things that maybe were mistaken or Bill Thompson and MPD are praised. Is it reverse psychology? Is he somehow working for the defense? Is there something going on? Because if Chris Whitcomb also said, after I said at one point, I go, it seems like everything just went wrong for Brian Koberger. And they're showing his muffin top pictures. And Chris had actually said, well, what if everything didn't go wrong? And to me, right, it had happened too many times, guys. It wasn't just all, I know that I can't tell you. There was a lot of stuff that he was alluding to for Between the Lines. Really, the more and more that I watch it, my personal opinion is I feel like there is stuff that he's alluding to. Now, what the intentions are of it, that's up to your own opinion. But nonetheless, thank you for the call. And let me just see now if we don't have. I feel bad for that dude that he couldn't close his YouTube. But all right, let's see. We got Darko. How are you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Cool. All right, so I just want to also keep this quick, but I think, you know how Wickham was saying that it didn't have anything to do with the cartel or like it wasn't a drug hit or the Aryan Knights, and he said something about the frats and like maybe to look into that. I honestly believe that that's the case. I think it was Jack Showalter and Jack Decor. And honestly, I think Dylan had something to do with it as well. Jack Decor, he just kind of like lied about like his timeline when he was doing his interview with the police. And Jack S, like, he's really sus and he was like following the girls. And there was like blood found in his apartment as well that was like never tested. So, and then Dylan, obviously, like, she lives there. So I just think those three like have something to do with it. It just doesn't make sense like any other situation.
Yeah, no, first of all, great job laying that all out. Very articulate, the names, explaining it. You reference Chris. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's a question that if you've tuned in, you've heard me ask. I'm genuinely curious how they got away with it then. How they're out, how they're not being questioned by a single person. No media source gets to them. And to finish that point, don't get me wrong. And I've said this before. People have heard me say it. I understand that there are powerful people in powerful places with a lot of connections. When I think of a situation where that comes into play, I think of like a DUI where you accidentally hit somebody and killed them or put them in the hospital. Like, that gets covered up. To have the amount of power or the level of power where a quadruple stabbing gets covered up on an international stage, and you got the task forces and the FBI and everything else, that's my only hang up. It's really just how. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jack Showalter, he has connections. So I think that has something to do with it as well. And also just the police investigated very poorly. I think obviously we've seen it this whole time. It's just been a big mess. So I think it's, has something to do with that. And the frats, I mean, they're pretty protected, I guess, in the sense where you have to call your like whoever's in charge of the frat if something were to happen, and then they have to tell you like what to do. So I think it's just like a huge giant mess.
Hey, well, and I appreciate that, and that very well could be it. Like we were saying before, with Brian getting out of prison, if he obviously we don't believe that he did it, but if he gets out and people think he's guilty, wouldn't you rather be out of prison and free and people look at you like you're guilty versus in prison and not guilty?
Yeah, I hope Brian Koberger gets out of jail. Honestly, I hope this all unravels.
I do too. I really, and I think it's starting to, like I shared that headline in the beginning of the stream where how wild is it to see a headline that says Koberger's defense expert says that evidence may have been mishandled. We've gotten how much other BS. So great call, Darko. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Yep, cheers. Bye-bye. Wonderful call. Lovely call. All righty. We got Love and Other Habits. How are you doing?
Good, Birdie. How are you?
I'm doing good. What do you got
for us? I'm going to make it quick because I do not want a pineapple. It has a lot of I do want to tell you did a great job. Out of the 4 lives that I saw, your questions were spot on. So I really appreciated that. Okay, so this guy has an incredible resume. Let's not forget that. I think everybody was like just dumbfounded by his resume. And we had initially in the first 3 days like a honeymoon period. And now we're kind of settling back down to reality. He is a hostage negotiator, or was. He knows how to read a room. He knows what to say and when to say it. He's completely poised like a politician would be. And so I don't want us to get like, too enamored with that and then forget, like, let's use our brains and do our due diligence in what he says. That said, I also wonder how he got through so much information within a short amount of time, really 9 months, let's say, and have a book published. Did he get more from FBI agents because he's an FBI guy that is already put together and he just needs to put it out there? Is one of my questions. The other one is, I've noticed, at least in the beginning, we are a very united community. And I felt like we were automatically divided by what he's saying versus what we believed before. Like we were going like full circle. So I was a little concerned with that. And I think, let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. The things that he didn't know that we knew. Now, I don't know if that's a game, but like if he didn't know it, I'm like, how much did he really read? I mean, some of it was like basic stuff, on top of which he didn't know that we didn't see. We only saw like redacted photographs, So a lot of the things he's saying, we have to take his like, trust me, bro, I saw it. So that's kind of hard. And then when we asked about the stomach contents, he says he knows, but he can't tell us. Now, that, I don't know, is that like, is he dropping breadcrumbs? I have no idea what's going on here. I'm more confused than before. I don't know. I don't know whether the book is like reverse psychology, keep going, we're almost there. But then I read today that, Ann Taylor's at a conference saying lessons learned from Kohlberger. It makes it sound like she's completely done. I mean, in a way. So I don't know what to do.
Well, first of all, fantastic questions. And I hope that when I respond to this, there's a little bit of your brain that's like, okay, so let's use what Brian Hoffmaster, I apologize, Brian, said. He's like, I think that Chris might be working for the defense. And people have said, did Turvey put a book out through him? So think of all the stuff.
Oh.
Now that you just said this, all of the stuff that he said he couldn't talk about really is still potential things that might be able to be used in a trial. How did he get through the information so fast and all that terabytes? Did he get told that? Was he a vehicle as a trusted person, high integrity person? Right? It's because you can't argue. As I've said, I agree with Chris Whitcomb when he says, I believe I've broken the dam. He doesn't even really, I mean, look at what the narrative was for Brian Kohlberger and how much they got wrong. So far in the Idaho 4 community that believes this is not right, we've pulled apart the state's attorneys and the prosecution. We've pulled apart Kohlberger's defense team. We've pulled apart.
That is very true. That's right. I should
Everybody,
a bit. Yeah.
So, but no, I think you bring up amazing points because as you're saying that, I'm like, you're right. That's so much information. How would he get that? How would he get through that? Get a book not only drafted, approved, edited, published, launch plan, marketing.
Like 9 months. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm really enjoying the Hive. You're doing great. I love our community. So,
well, I appreciate that. Love and Other Habits. It's always great to see your name in the chat. I hope you have an awesome night. Great call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. We got Diana, Adorable D, and I can never see it, but what's the full name again?
Oh, it's Adorable D for Diana, and then Yo, because I married a Yoder, and so now I'm officially kind of Amish, I guess. Yoder.
Oh,
totally.
you're Amish? Wow.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
No. No. Anyway.
Wait, is your husband big Amish media? I haven't seen that guy in here in a while.
No.
How are you doing tonight? What do you got for us?
Okay, so I don't even know where to start. First of all, I'm enjoying these calls. I want to say that was the best interview ever. You did an immaculate job. You asked great questions, and I think that thank you. And I think that he absolutely loved you and the Hive. I watched his interviews from other platforms, and he didn't seem as open and excited as he was with this one. Now, maybe he was tired. Maybe he was running on adrenaline, but I really think that he was truly happy to be here with us. So with that being said, my issue with what he had brought to the table, who is this Erica girl?
Oh, the Erica text of "you're being cheated on" sent to Ethan.
Yeah, and I thought that him and Xana was together all night long, but we really didn't know where they were. And now I'm finding out that they were apart and he wasn't answering his phone from her, and this Erica girl was texting. Like, what the heck?
You bring up such a good point. Out of all things, what a wild choice of information to include that really doesn't provide any context, but most likely served its purpose to a T. by putting it in
No,
there.
no, no. Yeah, no, he brought it up for a reason. I'm 100% with that. I just don't know why. I just need that backstory. I need to figure this out. So now I'm on a new rabbit hole and I don't even
Is
know
there
where
a
to
last name in
start.
there?
No,
I didn't think so. No.
it's just Erica. And I'm like, who is Eric? I've not even heard of Erica.
So and stay on the line here for a second. Karmic retribution brings up a good point. It's like, yep, ding ding, they weren't together the whole night. So
Exactly.
okay, so let's think through this now.
Okay.
We have not known where 50% of the victims were, being Xan and Ethan, as far as when they got home, right? We don't know where half of the victims when they got home. And now, so if Chris does intend to just leave breadcrumbs and have people read between the lines, there's a text twice from this mysterious Erica gal saying,
right,
you're being cheated on. Now,
Right.
how
So did
does
she mean
that-
in the moment? Did she mean in the moment because he wasn't answering her phone call?
So think about this. So hang on. Ethan got the text that Xana was cheating on him.
Mhm.
The rumor, this again, look, I'm just going off the cuff. I'm thinking out loud. Take this with a grain of salt. You can agree with it or not.
I'm
going
with
off
ya.
of- yeah. So
I'm with you.
nobody knows what happens at this point. Okay, we've looked at the documents enough. I'm gonna enjoy Friday evening talking with you all in the Hive, and I'm gonna talk like we're just a bunch of friends, which I think we are friends here.
We are.
Yeah, and okay, so let's think through this. Would you, if you
We
have a
are
if-
family.
yes, I love it. All right, if you have a side piece and you're in college, would you fake a stomach ache to say you don't feel good and maybe go home to get away, to go hook up with somebody? Maybe. And we've heard maybe was Xana feeling the best? I don't know. That could make sense. It could not make sense. I'm not sure.
I mean, I kind of feel like it could make sense, but at the same time, she went home. She called her dad. She had supposedly pizza. And then, I mean, if you had a stomach ache or whatever, I don't think you'd be eating that and calling your dad and like, I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I am so perplexed about that evening with those two and this new found info that he gave that I really honestly, I just don't know.
I think what we're all realizing is that I don't think it was you. I think it was a caller prior or two before that it said it's like the honeymoon stage. It's like, wow, okay, now let's let the dust settle. Let's let the dust settle. Let's look back through it with the emotions out of it. Right? You guys have heard me say the quote that stuck with me from back in my football days. I had a coach that would say, "You can play with emotion, but don't get emotional." And I think that that's what we got to do here. We can have emotion, but let's not get emotional about it. It's gonna impede our thought.
It'll get in the way. Yeah.
Well, fantastic call, and I appreciate it, Diana. I hope that you and Big Amish Media have a great weekend.
Okay, listen, I don't want a pineapple because that's a swinger thing. Okay, that is a swinger freaking. I had a
upside
cute
down.
T-shirt. I had a T-shirt one time, and it was a cute little pineapple, and I was like, I can't wear this. I can't wear this out. Like, no.
You're right. People would judge.
Somebody will want to get with my husband. But my yoder. But anyways, long story short, one more thing. I talked to you a few days ago. I told you that I used to work. I worked 30 years in law enforcement. I retired early, undercover, 3-digit, and I didn't say who. If you remember that call. Anyway, with the chain of custody with the evidence, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is awful to say, but you had to sign in and sign out whenever you walked into the evidence room to do anything. If it was just to visit the evidence officer that was on duty at the time, or if it was to drop something off, or if it was to pick something up to take to a criminal lab or what have you. I'm here to tell you, nobody signed that going in and out. Nobody.
Really?
Yeah. And we were a government office. Okay. So I just want to say that's not rare to find those issues. So now that they have an issue and they want to go backwards and they want to look at the chain of command and it's not there. Hello. Anyways, I just wanted to tell you that part.
No,
So
that's good insight, and I appreciate that. And
yeah, sure.
I hope that you have an awesome rest of your evening.
Thank you. I will, because I'm going to finish it up by listening to you all.
I love it. I love it. Well, have a great night. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Pineapple Diana, new username potentially. All right, let's see. I got a bunch of people backstage. Holy cow. Oh, Monty's back. Monty, how are you doing? You figure it out?
Hey, I'm here, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, good. Wait, we got to figure it out. Hey, so I'm the guy that's always giving you shit about the hat and the suit.
Oh,
I'm that guy, man.
Well, hey, I see, some people love the suit. I like the suit. I feel like you dress up.
I like the suit. I do. I think the suit looks great on you. You got to get rid of the hat, man.
So I wear the hat too. I'm not bald, believe it or not. I have a full head of hair. I just don't want to get like wear marks on my head. So I kind of prop the hat up, and then have you ever seen gamers that game a ton? Their head starts to get bent, and I wear these headphones for 3 or 4 hours a day. So, but anyways, I appreciate the bluntness on that. However, I am curious, what are your thoughts on the interview?
Oh, I thought it was a good interview. So I'm a little confused with this guy because I kind of watched a little bit yesterday and a little bit this morning when I was on my way to work. So now, is this guy writing a book, or has he already written a book?
He's already written it. So it's called Broken Plea, and it got released early on accident through Barnes and Noble, some member thing, and then they decided to just completely launch it. And I think on Amazon, it might not be delivered yet, but I think they're starting to ship them out early too. So,
all right, so that's what I wasn't sure about. And I got one more thing I'm gonna throw at you. And I've been laying this out for a long time, and it's just my theory. That's it. But okay, let's say this Amazon driver was, let's say she's incompetent. I get all that. But let's say she did pull up to the property that night.
You mean
look
DoorDash
up in the
driver.
window, and DoorDash. Yeah, sorry, DoorDash driver. And she saw a girl with kind of long hair peeping out the bathroom window, right?
Yep.
And ducking down and raising up and ducking down, which is kind of weird. So if she's telling the truth, this is what I'm getting at. So do you remember the gal? What was her name? There was a black guy named Darius, and then the other gal named
it was Demetrius and Emma Bailey.
Demetrius, and yes. What if that was her peeking up and down out of that window while he was in the room doing something, and all that was going on at the same time with other people in there? There's definitely more than 2 or 3 perpetrators. I get all that, but what if that was actually her peeking up and down?
Yeah, it could have been. Who knows? I mean, we know that. I mean, there's video. I believe there's body cam footage that certainly looks like Emma, at least, coming out of that house. True Crime Design released a fantastic video. If you guys have not seen that, but True Crime Design actually references the series of events of escalation towards Kaylee with the stalking, the break-in, and then obviously what's led to end up being the murder, and how at one of the complaints of somebody who was following her was an African-American male. And you bring up Demetrius, she talks about the statistics as far as, the makeup of race out in that area. And so whatever, all things aside, I don't think that your point is wrong with, we have to start looking, I think, A, at females, and B, go back to who did Molly see? And why does that just get brushed over?
Well, and you remember Pavarotti said that whoever was in Xana's room thought that it would have been a female. Now, he said this a while back, that would have been trying to take care of Xana while there'd be a male trying to take care of Ethan. And so I thought about that. And then I also thought about, there was a video that came out about a year and a half ago with a kid that said he was a neighbor across the street. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, he saw a black male and three females out smoking cigarettes at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then the video just disappeared. Now, what do you know about that?
Well, I have heard that. And Monty, I'm going to put you backstage and I'll finish answering that. I appreciate the call, brother. Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers. Now, okay, so I believe that's kind of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's kind of a mix of what Dot had claimed, and I also think that is that what Anon had said. I think for some reason I don't know if that. I think it was Dot, and it was that's the only time I really ever heard that. So or Dot's friend, yeah. Okay, all right. So we got wow, man, you guys rock. We have so many people back here. All right, let's get Crime and Chaos. How are you doing?
Oh, wait. Hey, hold on. He's pulling me up.
Can you hear me? You got me loud and clear?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. Let me just turn your mic up here.
Okay, sorry.
We got you loud and clear. You're good. How are you doing tonight? Hello? Crime and Chaos, are you there? All right, I'm gonna put you backstage. Just guys, as a reminder, close YouTube out after you sign in, or once I say what's up, just close out of YouTube. Okay. So Crime and Chaos, pop back up, and I will. I'll do my best to get you on up here. Okay. Let's see. We got Bellamicia. Thank you for calling in. Always great to see your name. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I just have a couple of things to say tonight. I did watch him and I enjoyed the interview. I think that you should be mainstream media. Maybe you should take over Ashley Banfield's job. They should give you her desk and let her just wilt to the winds because you really had him and it was really good. It was a great interview. Two things that I really, really want to talk about is why is nobody trying to investigate what the exculpatory evidence was that Brian Kohlberger's attorney tried to get Bethany brought back to Idaho for?
Well, Bellamicia, let me ask you this. So we asked him that, as you know, and he said, I can't tell you. We asked him, people have asked about stomach contents. I have not watched the full interviews of the custody queens or devil's advocates. I don't know if people in here have or if you have, but
I did.
Okay. So then help me out a little bit. Whenever there was something that was brought up, because I'm going to watch them over the weekend, whenever there was something that was brought up that could still be relevant to the case, did he answer? Because you think about the exculpatory evidence. Okay, so is there a little bit of a pattern forming here?
Well, what I think is I think that possibly everybody's worried about why Ann Taylor ain't doing this or that. In my background with law enforcement and legalities, I've never saw a attorney that was the defense attorney going to be the appellant attorney. I feel like Brian Kohlberger is going to have an appellant attorney. His appeal's different, though. It's not like the appeal as if he had went to court and he had gotten sentenced. When you take a plea agreement, there's only two different types of appeals that you can have, and that's 1107, writ of habeas corpus, where your appellant attorney lists all the ways that your rights were violated under the United States Constitution, and it goes in front of appellate courts. Well, first it goes in front of the regular court that he went into, and then when they knock it down, because 90% of the time they knock it down. It doesn't matter where you're at or what you've done. Then it goes on to another circuit court, a federal circuit court, and then there's also the 2254, which is a federal habeas corpus that can be filed after he's exhausted all of his 1107s. But with all the evidence that he was able to talk about, I feel like that Brian Koberger has a great case when it comes to filing that 1107. And I think that maybe, and because it's not anything that's quick, like right now, they're probably working on it. They're probably working on mastering the 1107, mastering the writ, because they have to show beyond a reasonable doubt to the appellant courts that these rights of his were literally violated, that he did not have the same rights that are afforded to every American citizen in the United States. And I really feel like they were, and I feel like he's going to be free, but it takes a while. He might not be free for the next couple of years. I saw 1107s hang on for 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow.
But the fact, yeah, it's nothing quick. People think that, oh, okay, well, he can appeal. Well, his appeals are different because he made that plea agreement. And I feel like he made the plea agreement because he was afraid of getting the death sentence. And it's harder to get off death row than it is to get out of prison.
You know what? Thank you for clarifying the difference in the types of appeals, because even for myself, you're right. We have discussed that, but I forget about that as we kind of get to this, what's happening? How is he going to get out? You kind of do blank on that. You kind of forget, or at least I kind of forget that there's different types, right? So thank you for saying that. And I want to respond quickly. Well, actually, I appreciate the call, Belmisha. Do you have anything else real quick?
I just want to say also, and I put it in the little chat for you. I don't know if you read it or not.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that.
What if the girl Erica that made the text was a decoy? What if someone had her text him that, so maybe he would get mad at Xana and he'd be like, well, I'm just going to go to my apartment because you're cheating or blah, blah, blah. But it didn't work because he still went there. But what if they were trying to get him because they knew he was there all the time? He had clothes in the closet. It wasn't like he was visiting. The way they've made it so many times is, oh, he was over there that night. I think he was over there more than that night. I think he was partially staying there probably most of the time. And I think that they knew whoever it was that was going to kill. And this is what's crazy. For the longest, I was thinking that maybe it was Xana and it was Ethan that was the people that were the targets. But now I'm back to thinking that maybe it was Maddie and Kaylee, and they were trying to get Ethan out of the house. So they thought if he got pissed off and they got into a fight and he went home, they would have a better chance because there's not a guy there.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a logical thought process. And I don't know about you all. My opinion for sure is rather solidified now with the third floor targets. I really think, that was a part that I felt was authentic and genuine throughout that entire interview. Now, again, there's always the aspect of like, no, you have to think opposite, right? So I get that. But as far as the way that he said it compared to other things, that felt very genuine.
And I'm gonna tell you what else. I don't know if it was on your show or if it was the Custody Queens, but on one of y'all shows, y'all were showing pictures, the newest pictures that came out, and it was showing the amino black pictures, and it showed that in Dylan's doorway, where the footprint was they had sprayed the amino black.
Oh,
and
yeah, we were showing that. They might have been too, but we were showing that.
Okay, so it connects with protein. So that means that there was blood there in her doorway for it to be like that. And it was cleaned up. So
Chris brought that up too.
Really what I want to say is this whole time that I've talked to you over and over again, I've always said that I felt like Dylan has something to do with it. And now this has really solidified my reasoning that I know in my spirit that she had something to do with it. I know she did. And a lot of people, just like a while ago, you were talking to, I believe it was Darko, and you were like, why are these people, if they did these things, why are they not arrested? And he was talking about, you can get out of a DWI or whatever. But in a town like that, and with the right connections, and with the college, wanting to divert it from people that are actually students there to something else, I think it's doable. I think it's plausible. And I hope that even when he gets out, that doesn't mean, let me tell you something. That doesn't mean if he makes his appeal and he gets out and he's free. He's free and he goes back to his life and he goes somewhere and he hides his face for a long time, because this has ruined him as a person forever. Because there's always going to be those people that say, oh, he got away with murder. He did this. I know he did.
Right.
But if he gets out and he's free, or even if he stays in there, this is what we all need to think about. Somewhere, the true murderers are free.
Yeah,
and they've done it.
Which is the
They
worst.
did it.
thought.
Yes. And
Yeah.
if they did that, what makes you think that it won't be easier the next time?
Well, I don't disagree, Belamisha, and as always, fantastic call, and I hope you have a great weekend.
You too. You too. I love your show. I'm always watching, always. When I'm not watching, I'm coming back and I'm watching it. You're the best. And I meant that. I was not just kissing ass. I really feel like you should. I really feel like you should take Ashley Banfield's desk and they should get rid of her, because you're a great interview person. Like you really are. And they need more people that are open minded and aren't just, I love the Hive. I do. I love it.
Hive. It's incredible. And thank you, Belamisha, for the kind words. I hope you have an awesome night.
You too. Bye-bye.
I love this. And thank you for the kind words again to everybody that did give a compliment on the interview. I did just put a poll up, one in the chat for yes, 2 for no. Will Kohberger get out of prison? As of this moment, how are you feeling right now? Simply type a 1 or a 2 into the chat, and the poll in the low left side of my screen will update in real time, which is an awesome new feature that StreamYard has recently added. I've been taking full advantage of that. I thought it was really awesome that I was able to use that too with Chris, and he referred back to that data. Now, okay, there's a lot of people backstage. I have to say this before I forget it. Okay, I have to say this. It clicked when we were talking. I was reading some of the comments as Belamisha was talking. Please stick with me on this. And I need to start another poll for this. Okay, so I'm going to hide this poll, and I'm going to start a new poll. Is Kohberger a Fed or working with police potentially? Okay, so I'm going to have you guys answer this. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Does anybody in here think that Kohberger may be a Fed or an asset working with the police potentially? Okay, that poll just started. I'm asking this for a reason. Okay, let me go ahead and show that. Okay, here we go. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Stick with me on this. And really, it's just, I want to sense out. Okay, so there's 76% yes right now, 25% no. So I'll give it a couple more seconds here. And I'm not necessarily trying to change people's minds on this. Along with all the other oddities in this case, okay? One, there has been, at least people for the most part, would acknowledge that there's been others in the community that think Brian Kohberger may have been a Fed, may have been a CI. Is he working undercover? He's obviously going into criminology. He's applied for internships at the police department. The chief of police said they had to talk to their lawyer before they could answer the question of, did Brian ever work here? Hear me out. So we have that. We have Josh Hurwitz, who's a he's a federal U.S. attorney. Donald Trump weighed in on it. There's a heavy presence of FBI and task orders all over. There's sweeping gag orders. Does anybody find it a little bit weird that the author writing the book now about Brian Kohberger having a bunch of weird stuff is ex-FBI? The FBI has controlled this, and the federal level, really, think about this. The federal level has been involved on every single side of this case, and now we're starting to see, oh my God, a book comes out for the broken plea, and for the first time ever, we see a headline that undermines the probability of evidence on the chain of custody of the knife sheath from Dr. Turvey, who's one of the most respected experts even before the Idaho 4 case, is on Fox News, it's on Yahoo News, and it's on all this other stuff. And the author who writes the book, The Broken Plea, and gets through all of the data and writes a book, drafts a book, edits a book, publishes a book, promotes the book, and gets access. Like, think of that. It's coming full circle where now even somebody who's got connections to the feds, that it would almost have to be somebody who's an ex-fed that wouldn't be under the same gag orders, that has experience writing books. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to start a poll for this, but does anybody think that that might be logical? Yes, no, and that's okay if not. I didn't want to forget that thought. So, okay, here we go. We got warning label Nina. How are you doing? And then, hey, guys, before you say that, Crime and Chaos, you're next. I see you back again.
Hey, Bertie, great interview the other night.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And I don't want any pineapples.
You don't want any pineapples. Can you turn your TV down or whatever's echoing? Actually, I might be able to do that. Okay. All right. You should be good to go now. What do you got for us? Yep.
Okay. The beer pong table. Now, we think outside the box, right?
Yep.
Okay. So everybody wants to talk about the beer pong table and the cups standing up and everything. And I have a theory about that.
Okay.
What if when Xana went to pick up her DoorDash and she bent over to pick up the bag, the perp surprised her, put the sharp blade to her neck, and led her around the table to the bedroom to do whatever he was going to do, not realizing that Ethan was there. And my theory is maybe she was the first attacked, but maybe the last to die.
Wow.
Let me explain.
Please, yeah.
So he gets like in an uproar because Ethan's there, because of course whatever the perp had planned is not going to go his way now, right? So he attacks Xana. He attacks Xana thinking that he has taken care of her. He attacks Ethan. Then he goes upstairs, and by now he is in full throttle mode of just vengeance and whatever, because the adrenaline going and everything. And he, Steve G made the statement he did not have to go upstairs. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Also, the whimpering. Okay. If he goes upstairs and does what he does upstairs, as he's coming down the stairs, he hears Xana whimpering and realizes that she's still alive. And goes in there and is like, okay, I'm going to help you, trying to say, give her some kind of false hope or something. And then she's the last to die, but the first attacked.
And maybe that's why
the table is standing straight up.
And also it could be how people have said Xana fought so hard.
Yes.
Wow. And the crying that Dylan heard in the bathroom could have just been Xana.
Well, I mean, if she's already attacked, it would be whimpering. It wouldn't be screaming. It would be her probably taking her, trying to fight to stay alive. So she would be whimpering.
Interesting. I think that's honestly, it's a take that I haven't thought about, where they didn't all die in the midst of the immediate attack. That's a good take.
But it would explain the table not being disturbed.
It would. You're right. Because what I always love, and I appreciate the call, and warning label Nina, we got a bunch of people backstage, so I'm going to let you down, and I'm going to finish that. Thank you so much.
All right.
Cheers. Bye-bye. What I always like when people do, real quick, before I start going through these callers, which Crime and Chaos, you'll be next, is when people bring a very human aspect to this into it, where how she said, okay, what if, put the blade to the throat and walked her into the room or whatever it is, right? As dramatic and maybe dark as that is and scary to think about, I don't know. I think that there's something about the way that you would logically visualize something like that happening. Whether you believe that that's what happened or not, I always can appreciate that thought process. So, okay, here we go. Crime and chaos. Are you good to go? You hear me loud and clear?
I hear you. I'm sorry about that.
No, you don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. It happens. What do you got for us?
So, I have heard all of his interviews so far, and I did want to say, yours was by far, like, I had to work at home all during every one of his interviews. So I just want to say, I only could half listen, but yours was definitely the best.
Thank you.
It was the most. He was the most. You could tell he was the most laid back and at ease. And I could just tell by, half listening. I mean, I was slow too. Work was slow. So it was easier for me to listen, but I took notes, and it was just a great interview. I'm on the Facebook group, like the really bad one. There's still guilters, and they're vicious in there, so I love to go in that one.
Oh God, I have not checked that one out. I don't even know if I care to see that one.
I love to go in that one and just still, let them know the latest and the greatest of what's up, and I recommend your
Thank you.
show of all of them. But anyways, so what I wanted to mention was this. What really, I took notes of yours, and what really stood out to me the most was um when somebody, you had the super chats when they were coming through, when somebody asked about the 17-minute phone call to Jack by Kaylee. He he wanted to answer it, and he was actually going to, and he was like,
I remember
oh,
that.
he him hawed, and then he was like, and I was just sitting on the edge of my seat. I was like, come on, what are you gonna, and then he just goes, I can't say anything. He said, I cannot say anything. And then he said, all I can say is it's significant. And I was like, dang it. So I wrote that down in quotations, significant.
Thank you for
And
bringing that up. Yeah.
yeah. And then there's one other thing that really stood out to me. And then I'll sum it up. No, I'll be finished. Uh, that just really, this is what really stands out to me about him the most. Someone asked, one of the questions was, if the perp took out Xana just because he ran into her, why didn't he take out Dylan too? And his answer was, good question. And that was all he said. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, now that to me says more than anything, um, especially being that when his first interview with his first creator, I cannot tell you the the magnitude of my disappointment when the first person asked a question about Dylan Mortensen and he could not answer it. I literally wanted to cry, and I'm old.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like, but I think as we all understand that, right? It's
Yeah.
frustrating, but I see
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I did, though. I wanted to cry, but with your show, and yours was what, the third?
I believe
Yours,
so. Yeah.
yeah. I really started to understand that his i- and your way of interviewing him, he's telling us more without saying anything at all. And that is speaking volumes to us, that while he can't say much about Mortensen, he's telling us that she had something to do with what happened. I feel very strongly about that. That's my opinion. And then apparently something is really important with Jack Ducor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I wish he could tell us more. I don't have my book yet. I have it ordered, but it's on the Amazon Kindle, unfortunately. So I haven't read it yet.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate, you taking notes on it. And I'm glad right now. I'm glad that it seems like the dust is settling. And like I talked about people are always going to have their opinions, as I want people to, and everybody should want everybody to have a difference of opinion and not just have an echo chamber, right? I think that's what makes our chat really good, is the best, actually. I really believe that. And I think just having the emotional spike out of it will really help us start to sort through it. And so, Crime and Chaos, thank you for calling back in, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
You too. Thank you
Cheers.
so much.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I just saw a couple of people. I saw 2 comments that had asked, where can I watch this interview replay? What you do is you're going to go to my channel, and you have to click on the live tab. Okay, so a lot of people think that it's just going to be under the videos. Videos is always going to be the quick cuts. You have to go to the live tab, and then once that loads, it's called The Redacted Truth. Ex-FBI agent admits we were wrong about Idaho 4. So that is how you view the replay, if anybody was curious. Now, whoops. Why did that go off the screen? I got to re-add it. My bad. Fantastic callers, as always, this evening. So thank you to everybody that is calling in. Let's go with Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, one of the things, it seems like he was pretty adamant that Kaylee and Maddie were both killed in that room upstairs in Maddie's room, that they weren't moved up there.
Yep.
And I just have a lot of questions about that. And one of the things I've always thought was, a little bit odd was that on Kaylee, who had the most damage to her face and had been beaten so many times in the face, that she only had 3 defensive wounds to her hands, to the upper extremities. Where Maddie, who seemed to have not endured as many stab wounds,
Oh, we lost you. Hang on. Sarah, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, we lost you a little bit. So you said, and so Maddie, who seemed to endure not as many wounds.
Right. I'm just curious why Kaylee only had 3 defensive wounds when she had so much damage to her.
Must have been I would guess it was a fatal wound right away, right?
Oh, because she had experimental wounds. She had other, there were so many. It looked like they took time with her. I think her hands may have, like they talked about being bound and gagged, and she had the marks on her mouth. I think that's kind of almost proof that she had to be bound at some point.
Well, it's so that's interesting, because I after reading the book, I do wonder if the experimental wounds were the 2 carved marks on Kaylee and Maddie. And when they say that they were posed, what they mean by that is that it looked like somebody put Maddie in a princess pose and made them look like they were cuddling. Now, if it's as simple as that, I don't know. But if you're just referring in general to your own interpretation, I don't think that that's a bad interpretation at all.
Well, I'm thinking about the crime scene photos in Maddie's room. When they removed the comforter, on the bottom, it would be the same side Maddie was on the bottom of the sheet. You can see looks like 2 smear marks where like she had been laid there and pulled up to the top of the bed. Like maybe her legs had blood on them and they had been run up the bed.
Okay.
You think that she had been moved there and then slid up on the bed.
Well, and again, it's like if they're moving the bodies around, then what does that really mean, though? It means that the person would have to have their blood on them and then track it throughout the house, which, right, you'd think there'd be more. So did you find anything from Chris that maybe helped you understand that more, or no?
Well, I think there's definitely a cleanup, and he seemed to go along those lines too. And if there was a cleanup, like evidence is showing, then there's no way it could have just been Brian.
Right.
I think there's no way in the amount of time that they had said he was going to do it. So I just think it's very odd that Kaylee only had the 3 wounds to her upper extremities, which would be the defensive wounds, but she had so many other stab wounds and beatings to her face and teeth knocked out and all this. That takes time. That was a intense fight, and for her, she's not going to just sit there and, I mean, it's natural to throw up your arms or do defensive motions. She's not going to sit there and let that happen to her. And I don't think it was lethal right away because there were so many in the face. I mean, he would stop eventually, you know, because he had 2 more people to kill still, right?
Right. Well, I agree, and I think the attention to detail is very well thought out, and I just so I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to commend you on the attention to detail to that. Do you have any last thoughts?
No, I guess it's different. I've got tons of things, but that was all for this topic.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the call, Sarah. Thank you for the patience backstage, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
All right, thanks.
Cheers. Bye-bye. All right. Next up, we got where'd they go? Jeep Girl. How are you doing?
Oh my God, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let me just adjust the mic and
I did mute my TV, so
nope,
hopefully
we are
you
all
can.
good now. We're all good. We got you loud and clear.
Okay, I love watching your show. Number one,
Thank you.
I wasn't too sure if I was liking the interview last night. I feel like I'm the only one. Maybe I didn't give it time, but I felt like you felt like that too. I see your face in the beginning, kind of like a little shocked what he was saying or where he might possibly be going with his thoughts. And
Well,
I kept coming in with like things I was saying to him because I was getting, I felt like he was trying to say Brian was guilty. My thoughts, and I'm so glad to hear everybody is saying this finally. I truly believe Dylan was not only in on it. I mean, think about this, okay? If Brian went there, who cleaned up then?
well,
Brian. Exactly. What's Dylan going to be? They weren't asleep. I get so tired of seeing that still to this day.
No kidding.
I mean, really. I mean, even Brian Enton. I'm telling you, I've emailed him and went off on him to really be a good journal. This case has gotten me so involved. But, yeah, Brian did not do this. Now, they always say a stabbing, the statistics, are high, that it's usually, they knew who they were. There was like some kind of, feelings involved when people are stabbed like that to that level. Now, I said it from the beginning to myself. Kaylee's was different than everybody else's. Now, why is that? Who begged her to come down? Maddie begged her to come down, and then she wanted to come down and show her car. I feel Dylan was jealous. Could have been a guy, but there were 2, I don't know if it was an FBI or a cop that did an interview, and she was asking him if she thought it was a fist that did Kaylee's face, and he shook his face no.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, and they said there were multiple weapons. My thought is because that town is, axe throwing country or axe throwing town, it could have been the bottom of an axe and just jammed it right in her face. Somebody that just, Dylan, I'm telling you, Dylan and a bunch of frats. And they all cleaned up what they could. I mean, they had the time. I mean, why is everybody jumping on board with Dylan of believing this 4 o'clock that she just couldn't wait to get it out? And the man with a mask. We don't know she's seen that. And that scene was so compromised from just the kids ramping through there. You're not going to tell me they didn't go and take pictures. Especially Hunter. They got them all on their phones. I guarantee it.
Man, I think too, if you were in the live earlier when I brought up the scabbard, how that's usually for a larger blade.
Yeah.
And, you had said axe, but I'm just very curious. Again, Dr. Turvey being as detailed as he is. And like when I tell you too, I'm not just trying to keep bringing up that I talked to this man on the phone, but I tell you that dude had zero, like, what's up, man? How are you doing? Like, none. It was very like, what are you going to ask me? What do you want to know about? It's very almost like I'm pitching him on the show. Why it would potentially be a good fit. And then he starts talking about the case and stuff. So for him to use the word scabbard just after having one 45-minute interaction with him, I don't feel like that was a mistake to say that.
Right. And I mean, there's just so many little pieces that you got to put together. I had seen a video early on there was a guy standing by a dumpster and he was lighting something up in the dumpster, and then he had his phone and he made a call, and there was a car that came in and picked him up. Nobody talks about that. God, there's so many
Was there
things.
anything? Question for you: was there anything that Chris said that made you go, that actually is interesting?
I have to listen to him more. I'm thinking possibly about buying the book. It's like I'm feeling like, why? What's his purpose of coming out and doing this book? I feel like we're all running around trying to, do what we're doing, and I got it. Like you and Lana and Pav, like he's supposed to be on live with Lana right now at 9 o'clock tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah. And I have to listen to him more, but it's like I feel like they're like dropping into windows and like leaving us still guessing. Like if I didn't believe this was a real murder, I would almost think this was a whodunit to have us all running around.
Well, I agree. I agree. If it wasn't real, I'm not even going to say it. We all know what I'm trying to say, and I think I know what you're trying to say as well with that. But I appreciate the call, Jeep Girl, and I hope you have a phenomenal weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Cheers. Bye-bye. All right. Now, here we go. I'm trying to see to make sure I've got, okay. So who's been, let's see. We got, how weird is this? So I'm going to go with Hibiscus Girl. And then guys, I don't know if it's the same. Well, I'm going to go with Hibiscus Girl. How are you doing, Hibiscus Girl?
Hello. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing great. I think everybody else is as well. What do you got for us?
Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see my screen, but I obviously have lots of things written down. But
I can show it. I could show it to everybody if you want me to.
You're more than welcome to. Okay. So, a couple things that, and this is chicken scratch, so don't judge me on my writing skills.
Okay.
But excuse me. Something I keep thinking about is Bethany has mentioned seeing somebody naked, and it was also talked about in the interview, someone being naked, Ethan being naked. Knowing Ethan and Xana were having issues, what's the chance of Maddie and Kaylee coming home and Ethan being intoxicated as well, possibly screwing around with Dylan, Bethany being aware of that, altercation, Xana was sleeping, a fight breaks out there, having Dylan having more friends come and assist with taking care of what's already transpired. That's something that's really been kicking around in my head a lot. And then the beer pong table, Chris had mentioned about it being like on the side, being knocked over. And we need to look into the beer pong table a little bit more and where the blood is on it that we can't necessarily see with our own eyes, and then the pictures that we have being redacted. I can't remember who it was that just called in, but mentioning, possibly Xana being confronted and walked around or led around the pong table. But then I go back to, possibly the table being knocked over. So I am doing some more digging and research into that part. And then BK being involved with the feds. I've really, really felt that in my soul since day one, and leading to him being quiet for that as well. But everybody's acknowledged him being as smart as a whippersnapper. And then the paper that he was writing on, and then the crime that is committed, him being sought out and brought here, and then this happening such a short time later. So I still really feel that in my gut as well, that, and talk in prison, there's a lot. Like, they know so much on the inside of those walls than what you would ever honestly expect. I mean, you talk about somebody having purple shoes walking down the street, they hear about it literally within a couple days. So I'm sure he can find out information, even being on the inside, about what has happened. And not necessarily him being a CI, but working for the feds and physically working on the case in there.
Yeah.
So that's something I've also put quite a bit of thought into. I won't go through all. Another one thing though too was the downstairs bathroom being as clean and empty.
Right. That was a good
Not
call
even
on his
toilet
part.
paper being in there. But there was gloves. So the gloves were in the garbage can. The nitrile gloves.
Yep.
So that was something that has really stuck out to me as well. And Chris Whitcomb's body language, I think, was very informative, even saying nothing at all. He was, and I will agree with everybody else on all of the interviews he has done. He was so much more engaged in the hive, in the comments, actually like stopping you and going back to comments.
Yeah, I appreciated that. I really appreciate it. And I'm not trying to cut you off. I was just gonna say, I really appreciate it when I brought up the sheath and he goes, Bertie, I love you, man. I feel like we got to talk through this. And that, I'm so happy that he did that.
Yes, and I do. I think he said a lot without saying anything at all. And I appreciated the points where he would be like, that's a great question. Let's dive into this. Let's go a little bit deeper into, well, you just brought up the knife sheath being found on the floor in the footage, but then being placed on the bed, and then in a couple different pictures, it's in a couple different areas on the bed at that. So I appreciated that a lot. The last thing I wanted to mention was Bethany and leaving town as soon as she did after everything has happened. I don't know that she was like physically involved with things. I very much feel she was aware of everything and knew. But I think she knew so much that she was in fear for her life and felt that she needed to get out of town to protect her life. And being in Nevada, she doesn't have to come back here unless a judge finds that she does have pertinent information.
Correct.
So that's my majority of my list.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the note taking, and I agree. I think that if Bethany's life was at risk, then she wouldn't want to come back. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend, Hibiscus Girl. Always great to see your name in the chat, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Yep. Cheers.
Bye.
All right, Hive. For these last few calls, let's turn it up a notch. Let's hear some crazy shit. One's in the chat if you guys agree. Like, let's let it all out. I want to hear your guys. I was about to say, I want to hear your unredacted thoughts, which is a little bit corny. I caught myself and I ended up saying it anyways. But I want to hear specific to Chris's interview for these last calls. Okay, let's get a little bit focused and dialed in on this, and to the point. We got a handful of people backstage. Again, these calls, I could listen to you guys talk all day, but out of respect for the number of people back there, let's make the point and I'm not trying to rush anybody. Let's make the point and let's hear what people got. We got think about it. What do you got for us this evening?
Hey, Birdie. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, I got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was thinking about the Linda Lane audio of the big fight we hear around 2:00, where you hear somebody holler, "Whoa, Ethan," and Xana's like, "Where's Ethan?" Pete has blondish hair, kind of long, curly hair. I think that's all that was mentioned, that he said there were several fights that night. And
he did say that, yes.
Okay, well, we hear that big brouhaha over there going on. And then we hear another fight. And Steve G had a private detective find out that by Kopaka's, this is the big thing about the book. He said he had to take everything about Kopaka out. Okay, well,
that should tell us a lot.
Okay, in the very beginning, there was an audio of the 1122 audio that came out. They debunked it. It sounds like it is spliced together, and it's awful weird how it ends up now that someone hollers, someone's here, and Xana supposedly went up there, saw the killer. If you listen to that audio, you can clearly hear the female hollers, "Kopaka is here." Then you hear Ethan jump up and holler Kopaka's name, and then let me up. But I just thought that there's two different times here, two different things going on, and I don't know if Pete and all them boys in the frats have anything to do with the actual killing of the kids. But I do think Kopaka, I think Brian is tied up in this somehow through Kopaka. I don't know how. I don't know if he drove over there, left because things were going on, or if Brian is involved. I really don't know. But there's a YouTube channel that used to have a bunch of these videos up, and the only video up that they have up now is of this audio.
What's the channel?
I think it's just Justice.
Okay. Well, are you in our Discord by chance?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Then can you leave a comment under this live when we get done talking, or at some point, and could you find that channel and post the name of it in the comments?
Yes, I mean, they even put it to the devil, devil advocate, because he was so into the Kopaka stuff. And I don't know if anybody's in the chat that's seen this channel. They, like I said, whoever they are, they used to have a bunch of stuff up, and the only video they've left up is of that audio in the very beginning. And the newswoman come out and debunked it, but you can clearly hear a female say, "Kopaka is here," and then you hear Ethan jump up. No, when he jumps up, or when you hear Ethan, he goes, "Xana," and then he says Kopaka, and then it's "let me up" or "let me out" or something, and then you hear him kind of like something's going on, and it's just crazy how after all this time that audio is what they're saying is that Xana encountered the person. I don't know. I know Kopaka, that fight over there at Queen Road is Kopaka kicking on the door, and his girlfriend was supposed to be at her mom's house, and he's hollering at her, you said you were going to be at your mom's. He calls her a slut. And
I gotta hear this audio. This audio.
It used to be Shine Louder, and he changed his name to that True Forensic thing now. But he's kind of gone off. He's kind of gone off of right there in that audio. It starts at 1:40. There's one argument. Then at 2:19, 2:20, He's back over there banging on the door. She hollers, "Oh my God! Oh my God! He's got a knife!"
I've heard this part. I've heard that
I,
part.
I didn't do it. Call 911. That is Kopaka and his girlfriend raising Immortal King in the Queen Rose parking lot. And Demetrius, his brother, drives a white Elantra. I think they're, WSU mom Kim come out in the beginning and said they were going over there. Supposedly the girls thought they were going to get roughed up. Jack Showalter coming out of the bar. I don't think he says we're going to get you. I think he says they're going to get you. But you can clearly hear Kopaka's name. But I will leave you twice in the audio. Even Ethan hollers Kopaka's name. And like I say, I don't know if anybody in the chat knows about this
You're getting
audio.
some people agreeing with you. You're getting some people that have seen it. So yes, please leave a comment. And just so everybody knows, the username of the caller right now is Think About It. So we will keep an eye out for that. And I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, bro. You have a great show too. Love it.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. All righty. Okay, we got Bug Amish Media, not Big Amish Media. You're on mute if you are there. All right. And moving on. All right, let's see. We got Polar Life Force. How are you?
I'm good.
Did it catch you off guard a little bit there?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. You hear me okay, right?
Yes.
All right, sorry. My nighttime meds are starting to kick in, so bear with me. But I I just wanted to say that I was having super big time mixed feelings about Chris, and I think you doing this tonight and having people call in and their opinions on that is really helpful. And I think it's going to be really helpful to other people as well, because I still have mixed feelings on Chris, but I think a lot of people also put in perspective of where he's coming from and why he can't say a lot of things that he couldn't say or whatnot. I do think there's some stuff that was kind of contradicting, but I just wanted to thank you for that first of all, because that's helpful. So I'm working on my feelings about Chris, so he said something about somebody asked something about cheating, who was it, Dylan with somebody else, what's his face, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend,
Jack.
Yeah, Jack. So I have this really weird feeling that, so when he said that okay, right, right concept, but maybe a different combination, whatever. Yep. I really felt like it could have been Maddie.
Wait, say that again.
I really feel like it could have been Maddie. I know that's maybe a weird thought or something.
No, I guess I never thought of that.
Well, because it brings me back to when they're in the corner club or whatever, and they're getting ready to leave, and Maddie is getting into it with somebody there. Right. And Kaylee pulls her out of there. And it's almost like Kaylee was kind of pissed off at her. If you watch them walking, they're getting back to the car. You see, Maddie kind of flipping her arms around. I don't know if she's just, having a hard time walking or what.
Is it drunk or is she pissed, right?
Is she drunk? Is she pissed? Or are they mad at each other or something like that? I have nothing more to tie into that other than, obviously, I just saw somebody say they thought she was getting into it with Jack. Yeah. I heard somebody say something about that, but I just thought that was interesting that he had said that, right concept, but maybe a different combination of people or something. So
that was interesting.
I just wanted to put that out there. But that was pretty much my short and sweet about Chris. I don't have much else other than, you had asked somebody earlier, why would these people get away with this?
Yes. Yes.
You know, sure, they could have money or whatever, but honest to God, I think a big key is police negligence. I, I think there was too many police there that didn't know what the heck they were doing. They trampled that scene. I don't even feel like their chief kind of came in to make sure that they were doing things correctly. That I forget his name, but he came up and he was like, yeah, you guys are making sure that, you know, taking precautions, not like just up in there touching things. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, you know, whatever. But they were kind of up in there touching things and trampling around, messing with stuff. But yeah, that was just kind of my opinion on that.
No, that's all good. That's all good. And
just because I just like watched one of the worst police negligence videos earlier today, and like they didn't even grasp the concept that there was a dead lady in the house that they were visiting and didn't believe this woman's words about it, which is crazy. I'll send a link in the Discord or something.
Send it.
But it was so bad, and I'm like, I just always think back to this case and like see a lot of cases like that where like, what are these people doing? Like, why aren't they listening to the people who are like literally telling them what's going on? And, you know, they find out 3 hours later, there's still a dead person, you know, sitting in the hallway of the house that they were just at.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of similarities in a way with Idaho 4 in that case, as far as.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, as far as negligence, it's out there.
Yeah.
I have trust issues with the police. So, you know.
Well, I appreciate the call, Polar Life Force. I've not tried to cut you off rudely. I just got to get to the
No, get to your people.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Bye. All righty. We got Bug Amish Media. You're off mute now. Good. How are you doing?
Birdie?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
No, I can't hear anything.
Hang on. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Birdie, I can't hear you.
You got to close
This is
YouTube.
Big Amish, Bug Amish. That's my alias if you hear me.
Oh, I want to hear this
I'm
call too.
Security clearance.
Okay,
Let
hang
me
on.
try and call back. I don't know what's going on, but let me hang up and try a different way. Sorry.
You're good. Okay. All right. We got Montana Lil. How are you doing?
Hey, Birdie.
We got you loud and clear. Let me just, I saw somebody said turn my mic up, so I turned my mic up. Hopefully it's even still. Mods, hopefully that's good. What do you got for us tonight, Montana Little?
Where do I start?
Let's hear it.
This case is just okay from the beginning. Ethan wasn't supposed to be there. Maddie or Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there. So I'm thinking it was.
Montana, can you mute your TV? We're getting echo.
Oh, all right. 1 second.
Thank you.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm thinking those two weren't supposed to be there. I mean, it was Maddie.
Did you say again?
Ethan and Kaylee weren't supposed to be at the house. And I keep going back to Ben, Mogan, and Kara, and I'm thinking that they had taken pleas not too long before this happened, and that the house was kind of being watched by, the cops. The cops had an eye on that house because they knew that Ben and Kara had turned evidence. So they were watching the kids. That's why there was all that, alcohol stopping the Banfield and the Rosie and the other guy doing laps around the house. It's like Kopaka put them on high alert, and they were, they had an eye on the house, and that's where the Cowboys came from too. I mean, a multi-state, multi-agency, multi-year, multi-million-dollar drug investigation between Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And they're not going to burn all that for one weird college student from Pennsylvania.
Well, I agree with that. What did you think about Chris saying in our interview about how unequivocally Kaylee was the target, because we had brought up she wasn't supposed to be there, and he had said it. How did he describe it again, Hive? Help me out, but it was something along the lines of
It wouldn't have.
it
wouldn't happened if she wasn't there.
Well,
Is that isn't that what he said?
I thought he had said something about like it was emotional, meaning that it was something that escalated, and then he had almost referenced the corner club in a way that something might have happened there. And then we brought up, what did Maddie tell Adam, and he got animated about that part.
Right.
I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I don't know. I mean, they're college kids. College kids have drama all the time. I had 2 kids, and it was a daily occurrence for drama with them between their friends, between their boyfriends. So stuff like that really doesn't, to me, escalate to a quad homicide.
I don't disagree with that. Typically, you would never expect it to be, you'd think it'd just be some petty Instagram posts or some shit.
Right. Or if it was a fight, it would be a fight with, bloody nose and pulled hair. It wouldn't be, 600 stab wounds.
I agree with that. And Montana Lil, I appreciate the call. I hope you have an awesome night.
You too. Oh,
cheers.
Hey, the one thing I wanted him to be asked was Brett Payton lying when he said you can only have one sample and CODIS at a time? Like if he put in another sample, it would kick the one that was in there out. He's so full of shit.
Well, I appreciate that, and I
okay.
Well, I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to respond to that when I put you back down.
All right, thanks, Birdie.
Thank you. Yep. Cheers. Now, guys, Hive, we've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes in the attempts to get through the super chats. I'm going to end the call thing quick, and I am sorry. I'm so sorry. We got a lot in, and I think too what we as much again as I'd like to hear from everybody, I would love to hear from as many people as possible. And it seems like we got to find some sort of mechanism, not to rush people, but I'll think through that. If anybody's got any suggestions, I still think it was great. I just think there's a way to get more voices, which obviously we want to hear more voices. And then I just lost my train of thought. Damn. Oh, Hive, how sick would it be to have a part 2 with Chris? Type of 1 if you think it'd be sick to have a part 2, because I would love to. I don't know if it's possible. I know that he's doing his little book tour thing that he's making his rounds on social media. But if you guys are interested in it, I mean, maybe it's something that we can attempt. I have no idea, but just putting that out there. And I figured that there would be some interest in it. I would like to, especially after everybody gets to read the book. So maybe down the line in a couple of weeks, that'd be nice. Pierre said, Bertie asked specific questions for Colin. I've been trying to ask these damn specific questions, Pierre. I'm trying. Okay. Super chats. Let's get to them now, shall we? Thank you to everybody that did send in a super chat. I did Leanne. Leslie 24/7 said, happy weekend, Hive. Excited for the show. Thanks, Bertie. Well, thank you, Leslie, Les L for the $5 super chat. And Starla gifted a membership. Carissa Sandburn said, happy Friday. Love the call-in shows. I do as well. I genuinely do. You guys are awesome to talk to. JDH, and I already said JDH on the intro song. Carissa, Jesus, I'm messing that up again. Carissa Sanborn, 22. Thank you again for the super chat. Said, why is everything around Ethan and Xana so secretive? I had asked Chris Whitcomb that exact question. And it's not only surrounding Xana and Ethan that's secretive, right? There's way more details about about Kaylee and Maddie and Dylan. And there's very few about Bethany and Xana and Ethan and the living room. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to have some pattern recognition in my own mind whenever I'm listening and watching. What is it that they're holding back? I mean, I don't disagree. It is secretive, and I don't know why. Conspiraling, thank you for the super chat, said, reminder that Whitcomb's book isn't about who done it. It's about how we lost the chance to ever find out. A broken justice system, not who ordered DoorDash, or what Maddie told Adam. Thank you for saying that, Conspiraling. Thank you for saying that, because in the, I don't need to read the entire intro of this book, but if you've read it, I mean, he does lay it out, and he said a couple times on stream that this is not a wrongful conviction book. And then he also said, what if everything didn't go wrong for Kohberger? So it's, again, I think it was cryptic. I said that to him too. I thought it was a bit cryptic. And adorable DYO, welcome to Hive Plus. The White Rabbit 9 back-to-back super chats had said, yes, the influx of disinformation means that we are doing well. And the White Rabbit 9 followed up with, remember the weapons on Eric Gower's Pinterest. Man, I have not seen the pictures from the weapons of Eric Gower in a long, long time. If anybody has those, please put that on Discord. Just in regards to the super chat, and also, I mean, again, Chris and White Rabbit, I think I know kind of how you feel about it, but Eric Gower, I don't know how to take, like, he spoke on Eric Gower and he said, no, I think he's just a normal dude. Right. But then there's other things about people that are directly involved in the case, like with Dylan, I can't say anything. So that was a little bit interesting that he would say Eric's not involved, Dylan can't talk about. Blue-eyed Candy, always great to see you, said Turvey let the defense know before the plea and now it's inadmissible. So I don't want to give a huge spoiler alert in the book, because I know that there are a lot of people. There's a lot more people than I expected still waiting on the book at this point. So no disrespect to Blue-eyed Candy for the giant super chat. I'm going to have to bite my tongue on how that comes about, because I would love to explain it, because it's one of the most, I think it's one of the most jaw-dropping parts of the book. And if you've read it, somebody said, spoil me, Birdie. So I'm going to, out of respect for the people that are going to read it, it's a really good part, and the ramp up to it's pretty remarkable. Kawanda, thank you for the super chat, said, I think the book's purpose is to help us with knowing what questions to ask. We don't know what we don't know. It seems, I don't know about you, but even from last night, it seems like the energy about Chris has at least started to shift a bit more to this. I've noticed in the chat, reading them and hearing from you all, it seems like a lot of people are kind of questioning now, okay, it's not just maybe flat out wrong, or maybe it's not just flat out wrong. Maybe there's some reason why. Okay. I've seen more of that than I did last night. So, which, like I said, I want to give this a chance, and I want to at least see it through. And if it's nothing, then it's nothing. But I think we owe it a chance. Monty, thank you for the call in and for the super chat. I hope everybody has a phenomenal weekend too. Back-to-back super chats. Adnan, thank you for the call in again. Hi, Brother 3 said, picture 33 posted 2 times. One picture has something white in it. The other doesn't. Thoughts? Picture 33, and off the top of my head, I don't know what picture 33 is. However, hi, Brother 3, please join our Discord. If you're not, the link is in the description, or the mods will drop that link right now. Guys, please, out of all things, the Discord is awesome, and that's where a lot of the chat will continue. It's like the 24/7 headquarters for the Hive, and anybody that's in the Discord will tell you it's great. And there's a lot of information, and people are quick. They're so quick on it. If you ask a question, you'll get a response very fast. And so, hi, Brother 3, I would encourage you to do that. Liz Gaspari, great to see you, said, why was 2 a.m. a dark hour? The $1 million question. So I started yesterday's stream, and my debrief of the interview, I said, nobody wavers from the official time. I've yet to hear one expert that wavers from the official time. And that's perplexed me because of the sound and because of the audio. The only logical conclusion that I can say, and I don't even know if it's logical, actually, so I'll take that back. The only thought process that I have towards it, I don't know if anybody feels this way, but when Chris was explaining the car, the SUV that's driving around, then it goes down Taylor, and then it comes back like 4 or 5 minutes later. I've had my suspicions about Linda Lane and 1112 and everything being manipulated, as you all have. There was a thought process that I did have where I thought, is his version different? Is his version different than the publicly released one? That was the only thing, because we hear cars and we don't see cars. We hear cars that sound louder than what you might expect. We see the clouds pause. We have audio redacted. I'm not sure. So, Liz, I agree. I'd be curious because we hear a lot of stuff going on. Starla Berge, again, I'm butchering that name and I apologize. Starla said Kaylee had post-mortem extreme wounds. Yes. And again, in the book, I don't want to spoil it. Chris did say it. So if you've watched it, I guess it's not a spoiler, but Kaylee and Maddie had matching. Two of them had slash wounds post-mortem, almost what I believe he might even say signature in the book. Don't quote me on that. I think that that's what the experimental wounds were referring to, is the post-mortem cuts that go from like collarbone to collarbone, or was it ear to ear or collarbone to collarbone? Either way, somebody carved them up after they were dead. Jenny Shortino 1, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you tuning in. Queen Bean. I like how you spelled that. Queen Bean. The lean, mean Queen Bean. It's important to note that the longer you wait to do toxicology screening, the more degraded and actually starts to change the chemical makeup within the body. Wow, that's a good point. I would be curious. Well, we know that Mabbitt took a longer time than most people would expect to get there. We asked Jeffrey Gentry, is that normal? And he said, no. I mean, I've seen people wait almost 24 hours. My question is like, what would be more pertinent than that to Mabbitt to not get to the scene quicker, or, rush to get that done sooner because of exactly what you just said, Queen Bean. Jeep Girl, great to chat with you this evening, and said you're doing a fantastic job. Well, you had a fantastic call in. Thank you so much. Kimberly Coolman, welcome to Hive Plus. And Karma's Rain said Maddie was drugged, I believe. The Jersey dude from the Grub video where you see him motion her sleeping was who Dylan heard in the bathroom or the spare room. Wow. The sleeping thing, yeah, it was jersey number 9. I think last night I accidentally said Showalter, so thank you for correcting me again on that. But I did ask if they were overdosed or if there was drugs, and he shook his head no right away. Again, you have to make a decision. You're either going to think opposite every single time, or you're going to take his word for it. It's almost like in blackjack, okay? If you're a blackjack player and you have a 16, are you going to be a guy who hits on 16, or are you going to stay on 16? I'm actually curious. Do we have people that are going to hit on 16 or stay on 16 in the Hive? But it's like, you got to do the same thing every time, or at least that's what they tell you to do. It's like, you're going to believe it or you're going to think opposite. I think that if you're going to listen to the interview a couple of times, you should pick one of those, and you should do that throughout the entirety of it, not flip-flop back and forth. Pierre 6976 said hit. Heart of Gold said stay always. Let the dealer bust. Amberg 7262, welcome to Hive Plus. Walker Stewart, welcome. Hippie Mom of 2, welcome. And B. Nicole, welcome. Bezo Jones said Brian Enton did an interview with Chris asking him if he thinks his book is going to get us all revved up again. Chris held his own in the interview. Chris Whitcomb was on Brian Enton today. When? I did not know that. I would love to watch that, actually. Thank you, Bezo Jones. We used to, in college, whenever we'd play Flip Cup, we'd say, well, whatever, but we'd play full cup, not Flip Cup, full cup, Flip Cup. People would yell full Bezos. Anyways, memory lane right there. Not that anybody cares about that, but thank you for the super chat. And Crystal White said the Chapin said in the Amazon documentary they had Ethan on Life 360. How do they not know where he was, and why does no one ever talk about this? There's a clear reason. And that's what I think we all have to start to accept. I hope that I can sum this up how I'm visualizing it in my mind, is that we have to get to a point where the questions that we don't have answers to now, are they serving us for the time being? At what point do we let go of some of these questions and almost shed them as far as time, effort, energy put into them? One of them might be, what did Maddie tell Adam? The other one might be, why is nobody saying anything about Ethan and Xana? I'm not sure if that's worth shedding it, where we need to, put time, effort, and energy towards maybe a smaller step towards it. And But I mean, yeah, it's mind-boggling. If they have Life 360, how do they not know where he is? So it's just crazy. It's all crazy. And Hive, I just want to say thank you again for a fantastic evening. I will be posting the interviews in 2 parts. So Saturday, I will be posting the first half with myself and Chris. Sunday, I'll be posting the Q&A. Please hit the like button. Let's get over 1,000 likes. And oh, geez, I had all these still up there from last night. Check out our merch store. We got these badass anti-mainstream media club hoodies. Shout out to the mods. That link is in the bio for the merch, or the mods will drop it quick. Same thing with Hive Plus. Please go ahead and join Hive Plus if you'd like to use the emojis and the Hive logo. And finally, if you'd like to screenshot this and get those social links for the Spotify intro music playlist, the Discord, my TikTok, as well as everything I just briefly mentioned, screenshotting this and tapping the QR code will take you there. And with that, Hive, I hope you all have a fantastic evening. I will see you Monday at 7 p.m. Central. Cheers.